Hi all, it's the Cockle here, aka the crazy old cat lady, and it's been about 3 weeks since I last did a video, so I thought it was time to do one. And what I want to talk about is something that has come up in the news of late about what started with one woman speaking up, and that speaking up has allowed others to step forward and feel safe to do so. And it comes down to appropriate behaviour. I've got both girls up there. Appropriate behaviour in our Australian Parliament, in which certain women have been sexually assaulted, and the culture that has led to that, how out of order it is, how backward it is. We are in 2021, and it's just not acceptable for that to be going on in this day and age. Like, seriously. But I do want to talk about the women that have spoken forward, starting with Ms. Higgins, who was the first to bring it to light, and what it took for her to step out on that limb. Now, that's a huge thing to do for anyone, to go out on that limb and not know if you're going to be supported, or you're going to be all alone out there. It happens. I've experienced moments where, murmurs behind the scene, mumblings, people whinging and whining and so forth, and then all of a sudden one person will go, right, well, all of us are thinking that way, that maybe we should speak out. And that person will go and step out and say what's going on, and the others have vanished. And it does happen. I've been in circumstances myself where that's happened, where friends of mine have been in that situation. I'm getting looks. And it's difficult when that happens, and it's an awful feeling when you're all alone. But it's important that we still have people do that we still have people who have the strength to step up, like Ms. Higgins, like Harriet Lumumba and Leon Davis in AFL, stepping up and speaking about the inappropriate behaviour, the racism that they had experienced playing for a football team that's Australian rules football. And it started with one, and another has spoken up, and I'm sure there are others. Recently you had Charisma Carpenter speaking out against the inappropriate treatment that she received from Joss Whedon, and other cast members from Buffy and Angel have stepped out. But she went out, and it started with someone from the Marvel universe sort of speaking up and saying that he didn't like the way he had been treated. And he was out on that limb for so many months. And Charisma Carpenter was dealing with her own, and eventually she had the strength to speak up. It's just happening in so many different ways. People stepping up, speaking out, and we need to support those people. We need to acknowledge what's happened to them, and we need to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's the kind of the cultures that have led to each of the circumstances in which they have experienced abuse. Because that's what it is, it's abuse. Now, there are so many different forms of abuse. Miss Higgins experienced one. The footballers experienced another. And Charisma Carpenter and others like her experienced a different form again. Now, I am in the circumstance where I have experienced sexual abuse, I have experienced mental abuse, and I have experienced emotional abuse, and I've experienced physical abuse. It's not right. That culture needs to go. And we need to support people who step out and speak up. Now, as far as the sexual is concerned, it's not full, and it was by someone who was of the same age, and I was in primary school. Now, when I alluded to it to a sibling, her response was, oh, kids are always exploring. And this is when I was speaking to her as an adult. Kids are always experiment, just whatever. But the bottom line is, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then it's out of order and it shouldn't be happening. It doesn't matter what the motives of someone else are. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, then it needs to stop. When I got to the mental, emotional, and physical came from one person. And it was like when it got to the physical, that's when I had always promised myself that if it ever got physical, I was gone, right? And so I stayed true to myself in that when it did get physical, I was gone. But I hadn't realised how much emotional and mental I went through to get to before I got to that stage, and my self-esteem was at zero. And I know we don't all have the strength to do it, but the bottom line is, this situations, and this isn't about what's happened to me. This is about abuse of any form. It's out of order and needs to be eliminated from society. We need to be accepting of one another. We need to listen to one another and speak out and support one another. People shouldn't have to be out on those limbs alone. They need to be loved, accepted. Take them as is. So, pretty heavy, but it's stuff I wanted to get out, and I hope that you can appreciate it, and I hope that you don't have to experience any of those forms of abuse, because that's what they are. And I'm going to keep saying it, that's what they are. It's abuse. So anyway, with Gaz over my shoulder, looking around, having a look, being gorgeous girl that she is, hey? You have a good week. Stay safe, be well, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.